Hello, welcome back. We have had a really big storm last night, and I have been wanting to get out here for days and harvest some of these herbs that I want to dry, and I just keep putting it off and putting it off. And this morning, even though everything is very saturated and a lot of things are blown flat, and we have no internet because the storm blew the satellite off kilter again, but I am going to see if I can get out now and harvest some. Look at this, oregano is going crazy. It's really, really big. And the thyme and the sage are not as big, but I still want to try and harvest a little bit of them. And I've got yarrow out the back that I want to get, and maybe some lemon. That was the other thing. Okay, so I've got a nice little collection of sage, thyme, and oregano. But the other thing that I wanted to get is this, which has all been blown over in the storm. This big tumbling mass here is coriander, or it's cilantro that has gone to seed. We call it coriander, and that is the coriander seeds that are in here. So I am going to collect it and maybe hang it upside down over a little sheet or something to collect the seeds. I think that's probably the easiest way to do it. I haven't collected these before, so oh wow, it smells so good when you cut it. My goodness, I love that smell. I may lose some as I do this, but hopefully I will get the majority. It's tangled in here with a petunia or something. Look at all those seeds. So many seeds. So the best time to harvest herbs is in the early morning if you can. Of course, you can harvest them whenever, and I do. Like if I'm using it for baking, or not baking, like culinary purposes, I will just come out and get it whenever I need it. But when I'm trying to preserve them, or they're just freshest and nicest if you get them in the morning. So that's what we're doing right now. So this sage is actually starting to die back. This is a different sage. You can see the leaf is quite different to the one at the front, which is really kind of a fatter, rounder leaf. But this lemon balm here is what I'm after. So I'm going to get some of that and some mint. Going to take the tips, the top, I don't know, 6 inches or so, which is the freshest, sometimes just 4 inches, just depending on what's happening on that particular little branch. I wish you could smell it. Smells amazing. So yummy. Now this little messy area here, there was peppermint on this side and regular mint on that side, and now it's all kind of mixed in. But I'm going to try and just prune off some peppermint. One of the boys, when they came in here with the whippersnipper or weed whacker, whatever you call that thing, and went around the edges. I just want to prune it right back to get some fresh growth happening, because it's getting a little bit out of hand here. So some of it I'm going to take right back, and then I will take off some of these to take inside and preserve. But the woodier pieces I won't use, but I'm still cutting them back for the sake of the I've actually decided a lot of this is, it's mixed, the peppermint is mixed in with the regular mint, and it's a bit dirty because it's gotten down in the mud, and I could take the time to wash it all off. It's also a bit woody, so I'm going to give this to the chickens. Okay, last thing I'm going to get right now is this yarrow, which is all in flower. And I'm just going to take, not everything, I'm just going to take some for now. Quite pretty. I'll take that for now. I need to do a little bit more research on exactly what to do with this, but I don't want to miss the window of taking some. So I'm going to take this and dry it. I also just trimmed off this basil plant, but it got pummeled with, it's covered in mud because I think what happened is in the storm, the storm splattered mud up all and wood chips and things all over this. So I've just pruned it back really for the pruning's sake, because I don't want it going to seed. Oh, I just threw it. Oh, nuts. I found an extra garlic and I just accidentally threw it to the chickens with one of them. I found 2 extra ones. Oh well, you get garlic. Maybe you need it. Do you need garlic? Okay, so I've brought them inside, and the light is terrible. I've been trying to decide the best spot for them, and this space here on this hutch I have used to dry things before. The coriander, I feel like it needs to hang or at least be on sheets or something to catch the seeds, and I haven't figured out where I'm going to put that yet. I don't have an ideal place, because I have hung things like around the kitchen and around the dining room before, but then I'm going to lose the seeds. So I really need to, and the table I have dried things in the past on is at the moment drying garlic. So I can't put it out there. So I don't know. I'm still pondering exactly how best to do that. But I think I will put some of the others out here to dry, and some of them can hang because it doesn't matter. I'm not catching seeds. So I will probably hang some of the oregano to dry. The time is kind of short, so it kind of needs to sit. I don't think it'll hang very well. And the now I do have a dehydrator, but I don't like to dry herbs in it because it doesn't have a super low setting, and I don't want to damage the properties of the herbs, so especially, you know, the medicinal properties. Maybe I could hang them from there.
What are those?
This is yarrow.
What's yarrow?
It's a herb, it's a flower and a plant that is very good for medicine.
Oh, you don't make medicine?
Mm-hmm.
What is
Got to
that?
dry it first. That's sage.
What is the thing?
Sage is really nice in cooking. You use it in, and that's thyme. They both taste really nice in different recipes. Good bit on like on a roast chicken or lots of different things, really. Okay, so this is what I came up with. I have yarrow over here, and I just used this little rail to hang some of it because it wouldn't all fit on the sheet with enough space between. The sage in the middle, thyme over here, and I hung some lemon balm on this side. And I put the oregano over in the window. And all I did, I kind of just improvised, and I hung a piece of string across the bay window, some string down with bundles, and I only put sort of 3, sometimes 4, but no more than 4 stems in a bundle, because one of the most important things you need to think about when you're drying herbs is aeration and airflow, because you don't want to have them going moldy. So if you don't have enough airflow in between, so the ones that are hanging or the ones here need to have enough free air in between so that they can dry out nicely without sticking together and without any chance of mold building up. I've got a couple of ideas about the coriander, haven't figured that out yet. But I was just thinking, you know, so all I've done is I've improvised. I've thought about what the herbs need. They need like a cool, dry spot, really, to dry, and they need sufficient airflow. I mean, this is inside the house, so it's not really going to be breezy or anything, but it just needs enough space. And at least because of the house being air conditioned, there won't be really high humidity or anything. So I think that'll work. Now, I think sometimes in the modern world, we are looking for prescriptive, exact recipes on how to do things. And I think it can be really freeing to be able to let go of that and trust yourself to come up with solutions. It's very countercultural these days. People want to be told exactly what to do and exactly how to do it. And I think really that's the result of our modern education system, which teaches us to follow instructions and to memorize things rather than to think. But have the freedom to know that you can figure it out. If you know what is required, like you know that you need sufficient airflow, you know that you don't want it to be in a situation where there's really high humidity, or if maybe you don't have the option of air conditioning, or you live in a really humid spot and you don't have that option. Okay, that's fine. You just need to then think, okay, we definitely need airflow in that situation. So maybe you find an area outside that you can tie them up and not very many in between, and they can have a breeze going through them, and then that would work. I guess the point is, don't be like tied into, I want to dry herbs, and this goes for so many different things, but I want to dry herbs, so I need the perfect setup. I need a custom built drying rack. Well, no, you really don't. Have the freedom to know that you are smart enough to figure it out. And there are ways that this has been done for centuries upon centuries without custom built doodads. So I just made do with what I had, and I think it'll work. I mean, I've dried herbs in here plenty of times before. So I have some greenery now. I'm decorating, see? And it actually smells really nice. That's an added bonus. Okay, we are going for a walk. Come with me. I think I might have thought of an idea of how to dry these. Okay. Out here in the mudroom, where I have my garlic drying on this table and on this rack. Okay, I found, so these old metal frames, which we found and thought they would come in handy. I've used them a few times, but I found this old piece of cardboard that was, I was going to use. I'd been saving cardboard to use in the garden, but if I lay it up here and put a couple of these cotton cloths on, and then I can lay this on. So that's what I'm thinking. I reckon that'll work. I'll just have to spread it out nicely so it's not thick, and put these, I've got a couple more of these. I'll spread these out and spread it out nice, so it gets enough airflow, and hopefully that'll work. Okay, I think that'll work. What do you reckon? That'll catch, the sheets will catch the seeds. I'll be able to, when it's fully dry, which will take some time, especially because it was quite wet when I picked it. But it'll dry out, and then I'll be able to shake it out and catch the seeds on the sheet. This rack that I'm drying the garlic on, my husband picked this up when he used to work at Tractor Supply. He doesn't work there anymore, but they will often have display shelves and then get new ones in and just throw the old ones out, which is what this was. And so he grabbed that when they were throwing it out. So I've got some drying on the table there. These, I think it will be better because they have the airflow up in between, and we've got the window open so the air can come in. But yeah, I think that will work. So, necessity is the mother of invention, they say. And look, when I came out here, I was moving these empty pots, and look what I found. I had given up on this. It's a loofah gourd, and it has sprouted. I'm so excited about that. I really didn't think it was going to. I was like, oh well, that didn't germinate, but it did. So that is super exciting. This is, and even though like that's really dry because this has been in here for a while with me not paying any attention to it. So I might put it out with the other pots and grow it up a little bit more and then plant it. So that's fun. Okay, so there you have it. I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted on the progress of these guys as they dry, and I put them up in a, when they're finished drying, with the oregano, I will strip it off of the stem and put it in some jars or something. I usually store it with like a tea bag because the tea bag helps absorb any extra moisture that happens to be there once I've finished drying. And I'm going to do some research on the yarrow because I want to make some tinctures and then I want to have some dried as well. So I think I have a recipe somewhere for that. So I'll hunt that down. But Doc Jones, who has the, what's the name of his website? Homegrown Herbalist? Is that it? I'll have to check. But he recommends, and I've done a couple of his courses, he recommends drying the herbs first. You can make tinctures with fresh herbs, but you have the possibility of water content in the tincture, which will make it not last as long. So that's why I'm going to dry them out first. So I hope you can be encouraged to problem solve, think for yourself if you are wanting to dry herbs or do just about anything else. And one of the fun things is once you start to realize your own ability to think through and find solutions, it will start to trickle down to other areas of your life. I mean, this is a very, very simple example of wanting to dry herbs and not having the setup that perhaps you see on fancy gardening channels or something. But it really applies to so many different areas across the homestead and in life in general. I think one of the very first areas we began to question the status quo was our health. And that was just through seeking solutions for our children and not really being satisfied with what the medical system was telling us and daring to question and say, I wonder if there's something else. I wonder if there's another solution. And then, the same thing happened with the education system and the way we chose to educate our children. And those are probably bigger examples, but I think sadly, I don't know if it's a fear of thinking outside the square, or it's probably not even actively a fear. I think it's just a programming that we get in the modern world, especially if we've grown up in those systems, that we don't even think for a second that, well, maybe there's another way, or maybe I can find a solution that's not the prescripted way that's most recommended. I would love to hear about your herb drying activities, and if you've got any favorite ways to do it or ideas of what might help other people. And we can all learn from each other and get different ideas about how to do things. So please share away in the comments below. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I hope you are living in the freedom that you have as a child of God to think for yourself. I will see you again here really soon. Sunshine and raindrops.